40. I would say let's start it.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, so we'll go ahead and get started on this tour. I'm going to try to watch here to see if we've got questions coming in. Feel free to post a question. I think my feed's loading a little bit slow, but anyhow, here we go. So welcome to La Casa de Amistad. Bienvenidos. We're going to give a little bit of the history. We're going to talk about our programs, and we're going to walk through the building. So we were founded in 1973 by a group of local community leaders and Father John Phelan, that's behind me. And so this mural on our building is about a little over 20 years old, I think 22 years old now. It was actually some of our youth did it with leaders back here with the center over 20 years ago. And it's held up pretty well. A lot of people will recognize our building not so much from the name or our logo, but you show a picture of that mural and people are like, oh, I know that place, La Casa de Amistad. And so this has been one of our pride points. And we love when we do tours, we actually will walk people through and talk about all the little things that in this mural that mean something to our families, to our youth, to the folks that work here at the center. Let's come inside. You go. So the first thing we do when we come into our center is check out our computer lab. Your headphones on, she's good. Sorry. So, no, you're good, Miss Ana. So, founded in 1973, I always kind of joke with folks that, as one of the oldest Latino community centers in the area, we're like great-great-grandma. But we're also high-tech and keep up to date with all of our technology. So actually right now, Miss Ana, our preschool teacher, is here doing some e-learning of her own, and she's taking a virtual class working on additional high-scope certifications for our preschool. And so this is our lab, and so here in our lab, we do computer classes for adults. Our teens, when they show up off the bus, will kind of run in here and usually play on computers a little bit, waiting for programming to start. Or we have our digital assistance program where folks that need help applying for jobs, doing a resume, all those things that are really hard to do, that nowadays you can't even do on paper, right? I always joke that I got my first job, I took a pen to the mall and I got a job. Nowadays you need a resume, an email address, and a computer to get a job. And so, this is a place that we help people bridge that gap in a myriad of different ways. And it's just an open lab, so people can come in. We're a Comcast Internet Essentials location. We're a LULAC, Empowering Hispanic America with Technology Center. See their logo here. And so it's a myriad of different services that we offer here. Okay, we're going to head down to where our Adelante program happens. So Adelante means forward. This is our teen programming. So this is our middle school students and up. Come to us Monday through Thursday and check out the space. We have a college and career focus. You can see our college banners here. Real quick. I know it's hard to read real quick, but. So we don't have a lot of space, but we try to make use of it, right? So even the basement, we've got a hangout space so the teens can do programming, whether it's just coming to hang out and relax a little bit before they start their homework or their activities or their mentoring activities. But we have 2 rooms down here we use. The students get kind of broken up between high school students and middle school students. But we use every ounce of space down here. Gotta watch your head. We're finishing up a mural down in this room, but you can also see that we make technology available and are always kind of looking for additional equipment and different things that we can have so that we can continue to make sure we're able to do high quality, impactful programming. All right, now we're going to head back to our lobby. Losing you there. So this is the brains of the operation here. So our front desk, this is where people, as soon as they come in, this is where they stop. On any given day, it can be a young woman coming in needing help filling out a protective order, to the guy next door that just needs his mail translated, and it's almost all junk mail. But from a critical service to just neighborhood needs that somebody in this family needs, we're meeting all of that in between. So we'll see around 6,000 hits here at our front desk per year. And so that's phone calls, walk-in traffic. So we're busy, and it's seasonal, right? So there's times of the year where families are calling about how to enroll their kids for kindergarten, and times of the year when people are saying, where's a safe place and secure place for me to go get my taxes done? So those are all the different things that come through our front desk. And it ranges during the year. The other thing that our front desk does is it's our greeting place. It's our welcome center. So this is an important place where people know that they can come to us, and whether it's just getting something notarized or asking a question about how to file paperwork with the county city, this is a place that people feel comfortable to do that. It's also the welcome center for our immigration clinic, and so folks that are calling to work with our legal immigration department, this is where they call and sign up to get their first consult in that program. So our immigration clinic, we have a Department of Justice accredited representative, and so we're able to help people with immigration needs at about a fifth of the cost of what an attorney charges to do that. So this is a major community service. Every year we're saving people between $150,000 to $200,000 in legal fees by being able to use this critical nonprofit service. This whole wall over here is all staff offices. We'll kind of can see an example here. Juan's our cameraman today, and this is his office, so I'm having to shame him. But our offices, none of our staff have windows. We work in tight spaces, and it's just been, it's a labor of love here, the work that we're doing. Down this hallway are our restrooms and more offices. Yeah, we'll get a WMU banner up, you guys. And the guy, did they visit last year? They did. They went to Western. And so in the summertime, so on the college banners, we do summer camps here as well. And in the summer, our students will visit between 6 to 8 colleges. We usually go every Friday all summer, and we take students to colleges. And last year, I think, was Michigan schools, right? So they went to different schools in Michigan, and we rotate around what areas they go to, because most of our students are with us for 3 to 4 years in a row. So we don't want to go to the same colleges every single summer, and we rotate around. So this is our youth programs office, our conference room, our break fridge. It's also where we've got about 4 full-time staff that work out of this office. So Humberto Delgado, our assistant executive director, Nancy Diaz, who works with our youth programming, Uric, our food pantry manager, and then Jessica Casas works here as well. And this is where we run our identification program. So this is where we run the Center for Healing and Hope Grid program out in Goshen, the Pride program in Plymouth, and SBID here in the city of South Bend. And so that programming, activity, and administration is also happening all from this space. And there's some cool art in there. So this is one of the fun spaces. My office is right next door, so all day long I hear our preschool kids singing, doing songs. It's actually the saddest part about probably our closure right now and doing virtual learning is trying to find ways that we're meeting the needs of our preschool kids. But we've been doing bilingual preschool at La Casa for as long as anybody has record, definitely into the early 80s. And before bilingual or dual language or immersion learning was even a thing, we were doing it here because we knew it was good for kids. We knew our families wanted their kids to be ready for kindergarten in English, but also maintaining their Spanish or learning Spanish. And so we do that program. My son is a proud alum of this program. And so we work to make sure that this is a high quality space. And in an area that we can be proud of as an organization. This is also, I'll mention, one of our United Way funded programs. So we're a proud United Way agency, which means it's a seal of approval, right? It's a seal that we've been well vetted, we work hard, and that these programs have great outcomes for these kids. So this program, we take 10 kids in the morning, 10 kids in the afternoon. So it's a half-day program, 5 days a week, and we run it during the calendar year. Obviously, it's on pause right now for the school year, but we will be kicking that back off again next year. Yeah, so I'll comment that Empowering Latinos banner from LULAC is a really cool. We're actually working with them. We want that image because we want to make it huge in our future center, have a large version of that. So here's another example of just our office spaces. So it's the largest office in the building. I share it with our accountant. So this is my space. Don't knock how messy my desk is. I do know where everything is though. And now we'll take a walk outside. So here you can see our outside space. I used to joke that we had the world's smallest soccer field, but now we've made it more of a kind of activity space. And then we've got our playscape that was donated to us a few years ago and has been well loved and well cared. The last of our murals that we did through our graffiti art project program is on the back of this building here. And so everywhere, if you've noticed through the tour, you're going to see the art, the different things, activities work that our children have put in. But we are really proud of taking care of this outside space so our children have places to play. So I'll answer the question. Definitely one of the things we do work on is doing FAFSA support for students. And so it's actually, we've done different grants with either the state of Indiana or local United Way to help make sure families get their FAFSA filled out. And so that is definitely something we work with. Jim Dessitz used to come here for years. We'll see if maybe we can bring him out of retirement to keep him coming. But that's been something that we've done. So welcome to our food pantry. Obviously during the crisis, it's a little messier and more stacked than normal maybe. Our food pantry runs Wednesday afternoons from 2 to 4:45. Families can come once per month. They have to live in the 46619 zip code. They get a food ration amount, and they get to shop for items they want off of the list of available things that week based on how big their family is. And so a family could be walking out here with several bags or whatever they need. It is one of our really diverse program offerings, so generally about a third of our clientele that come to to the food pantry are Latino, a third are African American, and a third are Caucasian. And so you also get to see that generational or even just the immigration changes in the neighborhood. A lot of the older folks that come to the pantry were Polish immigrants that are still in this neighborhood. So this has been an immigrant neighborhood since its inception. So our food pantry. The other one I always kind of talk about in the food pantry area is about us as an advocacy organization. We talk a lot about advocacy, and it's not just immigration advocacy. So here we do a lot of activities talking about food insecurity, how different low-income populations are talked about or their challenges, and how we create resources like these in a community. And so that's where we've worked with Boy Scout groups and church groups and different college groups to come in, and we have conversations about what are the best ways to be giving. What are ways that you can best support a food pantry? And so I'll do a quick little plug on some of that now. We buy from a food bank. And so because we buy from a food bank, we buy at extremely low cost. So when I actually do learning activities for groups, I actually tell people, hey, have you ever done a food drive? People are like, yeah. And I'm like, stop. And they're all like, what? Well, the thing is that we can buy this stuff at about 1/10 of what you can buy at a grocery store. So it's actually the worst form of philanthropy for you to spend $1 to go buy something, to pack it, move it, take it to your church, to then your church grab it, pack it, move it to us, and then we unpack it, box it, put it on our shelves, versus if you gave us $1, we could probably buy 10 of those items. The other one is making sure you give pantries things that they need. So an example that we talk a lot about here is pantries. We as well, but any pantry needs peanut butter and jelly. So instead of just having random supplies brought to a food drive, do a food drive for peanut butter and jelly. I don't know why, but peanut butter is good for forever. And jelly always goes quick. So it's a staple product that lasts a long time, that's good, and people need it, and we stock a lot of it here in our food pantry. And if you want to give to our food pantry right now, we actually are doing a food drive on our Facebook page for our food pantry specifically. So I'll share a little bit of kind of the corona stats on that right now. Typically on any week, we'll get about 18 to 25 families. 25 would be a really busy week. Last week, we had 100 families come to our food bank. And so we really need supplies right now. So there's a Facebook fundraiser. It's linked on our fundraising tab on our Facebook page, or you could give to us in other ways if you're not comfortable giving on Facebook. So you can give on our website as well. Good question. So this is our family waiting room. So our lobby's not big enough for people to wait. So when we've got a family here for our immigration clinic, or a family here waiting, or parents that come early to pick up kids from the preschool, this is a place they can hang out and wait. We're really clear when we talk about who we are as an organization that, we're not a charity. We're not, whatever people might think about a center. We're a cultural center. We're a Latino community center. You see it, right? I hope it's oozing out of the walls at you from the art, from the way we've maintained it. And we're La Casa, right? We're a home. So our spaces are homey. They're welcoming. They're inviting. I think it's always terrible when you have that nonprofit stigma in your head when you think of concrete floors and crappy plastic chairs and people just taking a number and waiting. That's not us. The fun fact that we always kind of share about who we are as organizations is this last year we brought in around $120,000 in fees from our clients and families. And so our families and our clients are our single largest donor, bigger than the United Way, bigger than any other grant that we've gotten. And so it's key to us that, you know, our families drive who we are. They drive what we do. And we're here to work with them, to create connections for them, to opportunities for them to be part of our community. So Juan showed some of the artifacts back here. One of my jokes, these are on loan to us from the Snipe Museum at the University of Notre Dame. So these are legit. This isn't stuff you bought in Cancun on spring break. This is like the legit, real, you know, made in Mexico 1,500 years ago artifacts. And we're really proud of not just these artifacts, but, you know, all of the art and things that we have in this building that are cultural and that are important for our friends and family to see that. All right, now I always warn people to watch your head as you go up the steps. I'm going to take it kind of quick. And then welcome to where we host Crece Conmigo, probably one of our flagship programs that most people identify with. This is where a lot of our major youth programming happens up here. So once you survive coming up that staircase, you're greeted into a space that's colorful, cultural. Our students, no matter how much we tell them not to run, they always run in the building. They're excited to be here. They're excited to come upstairs. We take 35 kids in the program here. They're broken up into groups around the building, generally by age and academic ability, and assign different volunteers for the days. Unfortunately, no more volunteers for the year, but I will give you a tour of what this space looks like. And you can see that everything in the walls here, from colorful, this is all the art that our students have done, either during summer program or academic programming. And when the students arrive, they're put in groups of 4 or 5, generally assigned 1 or 2 volunteers per group that work with them on their academic work. This is usually the part of the in-live tours where somebody says, oh, this is where you do your after-school programs, right? And I'm like, no, we don't do after-school programs at La Casa de Amistad because those are boring and lame. What we do, though, is high-quality, bilingual, bicultural youth programming. It just happens to be immediately following school. Because when you think about after-school programs, you think about kids getting a basketball and not hurting themselves, right? And so we're here being impactful, and we're not just cultural, but we're making sure we meet their needs, right? In a manner that's welcoming, inviting to not just the student, but the whole family as well, that the parents are welcome to engage, they know us, that some of these kids have been coming to us since they were in preschool. So it's an important part of, coming here is an important part of who they are and how we engage with them. My favorite view in the building is up here. Old-time South Benders will know the building as this used to be a Kaburski's department store. We've been in the building since the early 1980s. Originally a family lived up here and the store was run down below. And so when we originally got the building, actually 2 sisters of Holy Cross actually lived up here, and we ran La Casa down below. And so eventually they moved on, and then we grew and we've taken over the whole building, and we use every ounce of it. Speaking of using every ounce, it's usually when I kind of make my joke that, you know, this building's 8,000 square feet and we use all 9,000 square feet of it. Because sometimes you'll have kids reading in window ledges up here. We've just squeezed every ounce of space out of the building. And the other one that I'll cover maybe while we're here quickly is we also have all of our adult programming is actually in another building. So people usually ask around this part of the tour, like, where are your English classes or where's your citizenship program? So we rent about 4,000 square feet of space in the Mary Crest building from the South Bend Heritage Foundation on Western Avenue. And that's where our adult programming happens. So our English classes in the evening, our citizenship classes are there. And so we unfortunately currently run those in 2 different spaces. I saw somebody ask, what's the Sueño thing? And our Sueño dream is to bring all those activities together under one roof. So this is our library, and so this used to be a bedroom. I remember when we had one of the sisters here for a tour that used to live here. So this was my bedroom, and the kids were like, "You used to sleep at La Casa?" They thought that was funny. But this is our library, and so this is, we have all the materials sorted. This is another great place where you can donate. We will take everything except your grandma's Encyclopedia Britannica, and we don't need any more dictionaries. But other books you could donate. We did a drive a couple years ago to raise money, so we have bilingual and Latino and multicultural character books as well. We don't get those donated as often, but we always could use another copy of Judy B. Jones or other books, especially board books that once your kids have outgrown, we're a great place that you could take that. We sign all of our little ones up here for the Imagination Library, so they're getting books, at home when they're little, but it's important for them to read. This is also where, when we talk about high impact outcome programming for us, is that we'll talk about here that the two most important factors for if a student's going to graduate from high school or not is kindergarten preparedness and third grade reading level. So for all intents and purposes, the likelihood that a kid's going to graduate from high school is decided by the time they're 8. Which I remember when I first read that stat just scared me, especially because I have a 9-year-old. But you think about that, it's, we're trying to get kids ready downstairs for kindergarten to start on mark, on time. We want them to start ahead of schedule, right? And then up here, our students, when they come for programming, they do homework for an hour, they have to read for 20 minutes, and then they can work on an art project. When the weather's nice, they can go outside and play. And so the reading component is something that's critical for us. The other one that I'll talk about in terms of our space and kind of how we manage things in the building is that, when you look at things, like everybody likes to talk about the colorfulness and the art on the walls. And it's not just to be cultural for us, but we know that students, in order to be able to learn, they need to feel inspired, they need to feel safe, they need to have a sense of ownership over their space, and this is their space. They know they own this, they know that they're part of this, and that this is it's a key part of why they excel and they come. The challenge with this program up here is we can only take 35 kids. It's all we have space for here. Generally, we have about 35 kids and about 12 to 15 volunteers and staff up here working with them. But any given semester, we've got over 30 to 35 kids on a wait list to get into the program. And that's where we really work with other partners in the community to how do we continue to fill that need until we're ready to expand and start taking more students. But there's definitely a need in this community for students to be able to get this academic support. And parents probably don't understand that any more now than they did before, now that you're doing e-learning at home with your kids, because I'm doing that with mine. And it's a challenge, and I'm a well-educated primary English speaker, and if I'm struggling with my third graders Google Classroom, imagine what a non-native English speaker is struggling with to try to help their child either after school or now during this e-learning, which is why it's been critical for us as an organization to continue leveraging, contacting our families that were involved and finding ways that we can connect and help. Finish it. Right here. So I figure we'll just kind of end the tour here. I'm just saying to Juan, we still enjoy bringing groups on tours. If you want to come through, we have all types of educational things we do. One of the things that is another bummer that got canceled this year is we always have these college groups that come here for a week during spring break, and we walk them through lessons from talking about the issues of low value mortgages in the neighborhood, academic outcomes for our children, bilingual education, immigration issues, food insecurity, adult education. And so we love to connect with groups and talk about it. We can bring your group through a tour of the building, set up a service activity, and find a way for you to help be impactful in the community. So we welcome folks. Thank you for joining us on our digital tour, but we welcome folks to come back for a real tour where we can spend even longer time and then maybe even go on a neighborhood tour, go walking around and see businesses on Western Avenue. But it's important during these times for us to stay connected. We wanted to stay connected in this way. And if you want to learn more about our process to grow and expand as an organization, we've got that set up on our Facebook page and on our website. You can learn information about our Sueño project. And probably a few weeks from now, we'll probably be ready to try to do some type of virtual tour or more information about that if you want to learn and get engaged in that project. So thank you very much for joining us. So Mural out front. So if we got another minute, I didn't get as many questions as I thought, so let me answer some questions really quickly while we've got some folks. So we have a volunteer link on our website. It used to be right on our homepage, but we put our Corona page there now, so there's an Engage with Us tab. You can go there, there's a volunteer button. And so the mural outside, one of the things you can see some photos of it on our website, but it features some really cool things like Father John Phelan, that was a CSC priest. And so he's actually down in South America right now. And so he was connected, with St. Stephen's, our parish in the community here, and St. Adalbert's. And so he worked a lot with the community here. But there's everything on the mural from, vegetables and fields, which is a large part of the reason why a lot of our community came to this area. One of our favorite things is people try to guess which logo's on there, and it's the United Farm Workers logo. We've had the opportunity here at the center to meet and interact with Dolores Huerta, so it's been cool to kind of connect those pieces to everything from a cartoon version of a family with hands around it, kind of showing who we are, and then on the far left side of our mural are all the cultural pieces. And so it's a little bit about culture, a little bit about who we are, and then about kind of where we came from and why we're here in South Bend. So that's a little bit more about our mural. So I think we've covered some questions. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And like I said, we would love to engage with folks. Continue. I know we're going to be quarantined for a few more weeks, but if there's some ways that we can engage and connect in the meantime, please do so. Check out the rest of our Facebook page to give to either our food pantry or to be engaged in our Sueño project. And thank you for joining us today. Have a great afternoon.